absolute must. And, you know, like Justin was asking, what's my next step? You need to become the most skilled agent that you possibly can. And go back to that analogy from Coach, right? You know, negative emotion is up, understanding and trust is down. So how you remove that negative emotion is help them have a greater sense of understanding and help them build trust in you, because you're providing. And here's the thing, is that you can't tell them. You have to show them. That's why you have to have those market reports.
John, it just everybody just sign up for Keeping Current Matters. If you're not,
100%.
it's so simple. They have all the charts, all the graphs. They even have a thing now where they actually can give you a script, and you put it on your phone and you just read from the script and the charts show up. It's so, and they are spot on. I mean, they are spot on with market. Everything you just said is exactly what they said last week on Dave Childers' 30-minute. It's so simple.
So Keeping Current Matters, the Altos reports. Alex, do you take Altos over Real Market Reports?
Great question. I did both because there's a difference. Altos is only focused on active inventory. Real Market Reports looks at sold. But when the market is changing, sold data is irrelevant, right? So I want to track the price decreases. I want to track the fallouts. And they segment your market into 4 price categories.
Right.
So you could actually break down what's happening by price category, which I thought was really cool. But I think you need both.
I would agree. And then I would also think what you're going to have is Focus First. From a visual pricing standpoint, to be able to show.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple really gangster slides in there. And I know the one that you like.
The whole thing, so it actually looks good now.
But the one that I know you really liked was the gram to show where everything was, but also the probability report.
Yeah.
Because and you guys will learn this the more that you train and understand with Alex. Alex is the most skilled and articulate real estate agent that I've ever met, period. So like everything Alex is doing, from your presentation, from your scripting, you just do whatever he's doing. But what Alex is really, really good at, and this goes back to the whole idea, and it's the DiCaprio movie, right? Inception. They have to believe that it's their idea of where their home needs to be positioned in the market. Our job is to just show them and guide them to that path. And so that's what I loved about Focus First, because it has the probability report, and you're seeing this, and you're like, so Mr. Seller, where do you think we should position your home to help you get your ass out of cold-ass Cleveland and down to Florida?
We're personally offended by your attack on Ohio.
I think there's a, you are in Sooner country, by the way, right?
You would never see it if you were a bumper sticker that says, let's retire and move north.
They're all coming back. They all go south and kiss their grandkids, and they come right back.
Well, we're from Florida and we're full.
So I also think, one, pay attention, and then everything's relevant, right? You look at, I was talking with Jay, and $1 million price reductions and shit still's not moving, right? And so it's just, it's just kind of where
I think
things
it's
are at.
like also too kind of back to basics, and we've been kind of tossing this around, like how to help our group ask great questions and like really be consultative and really understand, like, know what a 1031 exchange is, like understand how investments work, like just really know it, or at least know who you can connect the people with, instead of just running around like a capital R, bumping into things.
And Jen and I call agents before they show the houses we have listed, and 9 times out of 10, they had no clue what these people are looking for.
They don't even know who
no
people
clue.
are.
Well, no, they just wanted to see this house. I'm like,
I pop-tarted it up.
What?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why, like, now back to Alex, what you were saying, that the buyers probably wouldn't pay you because now they believe they're finding the information online
Yeah.
first, bringing it to you.
Yeah.
Then they don't have a clue
Right.
of
Right.
what's going on because they were called by them.
Right.
Or there was a coming soon status, but not on the internet.
Right.
Just
Right.
Right.
Sign.
So there's a multitude of problems that's there.
Yeah.
or opportunity, really.
No, it is
Oh,
all.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like you said, there's more 90% than there are the 10%.
The 90% selling way less than we are though.
But they scream the loudest. So.
But their reputation precedes them.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so much commission compression going on because these agents are dropping their pants every time they walk in a door just to get a listing, just to whatever. And it's like to get that skill level back up and get the payment back up to where it really needs to be and what we actually deserve for what we do.
So go back to understanding value creation, right? And you know, in the absence of value, people question price. So if they don't see any value, then that's why, and because they don't have any value, right? They haven't taken the time to develop that skill set that they can, you know, it's one to have it, but you got to be able to articulate it.
You gotta show them too,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
You can't just tell them. You have, your
Yes.
shit's gotta be visual today. You have to be video-based front end on everything you do. If you wanna start attracting people to you who aren't shopping, that's, you gotta be a knowledge broker and you have to be on video. Because when they call you, they're not comparing you to other agents, they're more open to paying your fee. And if you've got
They
great
already trust
consultations, which is, everything starts there. The one question they should ask you at the end is, what do I need to do to work with you?
Right.
That's when you know you nailed it and commission is not an issue.
Right.
And client video testimonials.
Yeah.
Huge. Not a Google testimonial, not a Zillow testimonial, a video testimonial.
And go back to,
Google pay-per-click, you have to have the
Yeah.
here's the thing too, is that, and what Alex is saying is that, you know, how much, you know, what it's going to take for me to work with you. But it goes back to Chris Voss and what he talks about and Never Split the Difference is that they can't believe Alex is the best solution. They have to believe that Alex's process is the best solution to help them accomplish whatever they're wanting to accomplish. So you've got to show them, you've got to walk them through it. And it doesn't matter, you don't have to be in front of them. I mean, shit, how long were you sitting in my kitchen? Yeah.
And when you go to the consultation, and again, it's gotta be their idea. So when we talk about price adjustments, I also believe it's because, you know, homes are selling, still in my market, so I'm just speaking specifically in Dallas. They're still selling at 10% over asking, right? Where uneducated realtors are making a mistake is they are pricing the homes at the closing prices, right? Which are already inflated.
Yeah.
So when buyer walks through the home, they're not judging that home at 600. They're judging it at 660. Right? So now it's like, well, I want 600 for my home. If you want 600, we need to come on at 550 and let the market do its thing and drive it up. Because the number, like foot traffic is what's ultimately going to lead to multiple offers.
Every day.
But that's where, so I believe most of those price adjustments, like that listing, I think I'll sell it probably 650, 675. And that's what he wanted to list. But when I showed him, I was like, you see that successful sale, that, he's like, yep. I was like, where did they all start in their list price? He was like, oh, 550. I was like, where do you think we should start? He's like, 550. I'm like, God damn, you're smart. Sign us up.
And see, what happens too, this is what I explained to him as well, is that person that just saw your house at 660 doesn't believe they can make you an offer. Because they don't believe that you'll even take it.
Right.
So you just lost somebody who might have made you an offer to where you wanted to be, but they didn't believe they could do it because they would never take it.
Yeah.
We don't do consultations anymore, we do strategy sessions.
Oh, that's a good way to say
Yeah,
it.
so we do buyer strategy sessions and seller strategy.
I don't list on comps. I list on the market, what
You
they're
can't do
competing
comps
with.
right now.
What- I listen, I look at what they're competing with,
Properties.
and whatever they're competing with is where we go. That's what we look at. What is your competition?
With relevant properties.
Let's so I want to, you know, talk, because we were talking competition out there, and really the only competition we have is the competition with ourselves. But let's kind of talk what the different models out there, because every one of you raised your hand, you want to increase headcount. And so understanding kind of what the other models out there, what they really are. You know, we've got, you know, KW people in the room, we've got EXP people in the room, and so like what are the other models, like real, like what is that other competition? And I think this will be good to just understand when we talk about model this afternoon with me and Alex, when we talk about that, and just kind of understanding kind of what the competition really is out there for agents.
And Dan's not here. I mean, you know, we've got one of the biggest companies in Atlanta. It's just a flat fee that I can't even hardly run my own personal brokerage cheaper than what they're running to show. And they're 3,000 agents strong in their market.
So you got flat fees.
Yeah.
Yep. And I know some markets don't even have the Compass, don't even have, you know, those other things. So what are some of the other companies and kind of what they're offering? What are they doing right now? You're kind of seeing to have to kind of compete against with agents.
I don't know, is Realty One in any of your markets?
Yeah.
They're aggressive.
Yeah.
And they're getting agents to join because it's such a simple program to get into, and I don't know how they do it. I mean, I'm a numbers guy. I crunch the numbers. How do they do it? And unless it's on numbers, I've never believed you can make profit on volume. I'm sorry, I don't believe it.
Well, and you got to, you know, a lot of these companies, it's not sustainable, and especially if we have minimum of 30% reduction, they're going to be in real trouble.
We have Coldwell bankers paying like big money. for
They are to
agents.
get people to
Big
come
money.
on.
Compass
Yeah,
too.
they can push.
And they've been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years at least.
Yeah, yep.
So we got the Caldwell Bankers, we got the
You got
Compass.
Yeah, and I think we have a few Keller Williams by us. They're starting to match our cap.
They're all kind of shifting around that.
I mean, Real's a player, and they're young, but they're coming on. And we have some really well-respected agents that have gone on to Real in our market, like Chris Collins, for example. And, you know, their model's not as deep as ours. It stops at 5.
But it's reversed.
Yeah, but it, you know, it's, the thought is, let's get in cheap, let's get in when the stock is cheap, and, you know, long-term, it's gonna be worth a lot more. But my rebuttal to that is, you know, we didn't join EXP because of stock, we joined it because of the collaboration and the quality and talent that we're able to get information from. It isn't about just the stock.
And I mean, this is a much deeper layer too. They've got relocation, they've got
Right.
insurance. I mean, like this company is well more mature. That offers so much more ancillary parts to it that those others don't. So that's another.
I think it's more. You know, Michael nailed it. I always tell everybody, wherever you go, you end up getting there, and the most value is the people. You know, I mean, shit. The Perrys were number 3 at EXP. They went to Real, and they went. I think Jack let Michael and part of their leadership team make the decision, and you know, Jack said that if the rev share would have been matured for him, and this is another mistake that was made, is that, you know, EXP honored their cap when they were at KW to come over, so that didn't allow the rev share for 12 months. And I was like, you know, Jack, I was like, and he's like, you know, if we're having this conversation 6 months from now, then he goes, I would not let us move. But, you know, Jack's on the back 9 as well, and so he knows he's just kind of setting it up for Michael. And, you know, they made that move, short-term move, who knows. But ultimately, the decision to move was because of people. And they didn't feel their alignment, they didn't feel supported. It doesn't matter. Just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean it's true. They felt that way, not saying it was true, but being supported. So it is the people.